shut that down rather than reaching for everything that God has. Come on now. You ever had a great meal and you just kept reaching back and you kept reaching back and you said, you need to cook that again, honey. You need to get that. Oh, we got to have this again. Why? It was because there was something that got hold of your taste, the taste part of your tongue. You realize, oh, if the church of the living God one more time would get a good taste of what, grab hold of that. I'm not talking about just Willisburg. I'm talking about the church in general. I preached a lot of places the last 10 or 15 to prepare you. Can you imagine what heaven's going to be? I don't think heaven's going to be dull and dry and everybody's sitting around saying, I tell you what, I've done too much shouting today. I got to find me a place to sit down. I tell you what, I am worn out. Did that angel was she ever going to quit singing that old song over and over and over again? I don't think it's going to be that way, folks. I'm going to tell you, you're going to get up in the morning, if there is such a thing in heaven, and all of a sudden we're going to be renewed every time we take a deep breath. Oh, if we could recognize so much how much God is in this room right now. I don't know why we don't realize it. People say, but we're not shouting. Did God say we would shout all the time? He shows up in many ways. Many times Jesus just sort of walked up and they realized He was here. He walked by, was it the Apostle Paul? He walked by somebody and they were blind and he just walked by them and the presence of God reached over and healed him right at that very moment. Do you realize we shortchange God sometimes. We think God's got to come down because we're singing a great song or we're singing a fast song or we're praying down to heaven. I'm going to tell you, God is in this room right now as strong as He will be. He is ready to be here in our life and revive us and renew us and strengthen us and bring us into a deeper place with God. For what reason? Not for us just to feel good, but that we could go to the world and preach the gospel to people who need to be able to be saved and delivered from all the things that the enemy's using against them in this hour. Our job is not just to come to church and get happy. That's not our job. It's not coming to church just to get a blessing. We need blessings. But the reason God blesses us is what? That we can bless somebody else. That we can be able to encourage them, pray for them. We've got a world that is lost. We've got a world that is looking for all types of religions. They're just bound by all of these different things. I was discussing with someone today about people taking their lives. Do you realize the last few years there's been more times people have taken their lives in America than had in a long time? We've got people captured by drugs and alcohol. You name it, there is a power of hell. I'm going to tell you what, the church cannot just gather to be together to say we were together. We've got to gather to allow God to pour into us something that we can pour out as we, that we can pour out as we go through our life. It doesn't mean you're going to be a preacher or a singer, but I'm going to tell you what, every one of us needs to have something in us that we can pour out upon somebody. We can testify the goodness of God. We can tell them about the miracle of what God has done in my life. We can do whatever we need to do. Why? Because God is reviving the church in this hour. We were never meant to be somebody that just sort of sits around and doesn't enjoy. I enjoy. It was David said, I was glad when they said to me, let me go to the house of the Lord. This is the house of the Lord. He's ready to be able to minister to us. But we wait on a certain thing. We got our mind figured out exactly how it's going to be. I'm going to tell you, folks, our God is tired of us trying to talk Him into doing it my way. He wants you and me to be ready. Oh, hallelujah.